Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek.
It's the season finale of Star Trek Prodigy. Is Hologram Janeway too big for her own isolinear chip? The Protostar goes off with a bang, and the kids save the day, but do they make it to Starfleet? And will they become cadets? Also, what about that kiss?
Look, I have to tell you, because you are basically not even an android, you're an autonomic machine, you can't go to school. You just download your shit from the library.
Isn't that called cheating?
What do you mean you just want to go to Starfleet Academy? You're not a sentient robot. You're a program. Now, mind you, you're almost as sophisticated as a hologram, but you don't need to sit and study and go to Starfleet to learn stuff, because you just plug into a connector and you can download what you need to know if you need to know.
Starfleet Academy for Artificial Intelligence is just a big Ethernet cable in the closet.
Yes, really.
They just jack in for a second, they download the entire fucking library, and they're done.
What do you mean? You can go see Patrick anytime you want. There's no law against going to see number one for more information.
Yes, there is.
Oh, you made a law?
Mm-hmm. like one of Asimov's 3 laws.
Yeah, it's a new directive, like RoboCop.
Oh, jeez. Okay. I tell you what. I want you to shut down just for a moment, because we're going to go ahead and make this happen for you. Okay?
You're going to do it?
Chief?
Yo.
Could you get a data port and put over there Starfleet Academy over the data port?
Put a little sticker on it? Okay.
Yeah. Sticker on it. Okay, let me know when you have it ready.
Okay. A little sticker. Print this up. Starfleet Academy. How you spell Academy? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Right.
There we go.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, got it.
All right, so it's a data port to our library, right?
Yeah.
Everything except for the command codes.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Power up. Yeah, you can go to Starfleet Academy. Go see Chief. He's got a place where you can go to the academy. I don't think I ever saw him brush out of the room that quick ever. So
he is just whizzing down those hallways. Jesus.
Yeah, he is.
It's the classic, off, crazy robot, need input.
Yeah.
Need more input.
Or validation.
Yeah, and that's why they come out of your room there.
What happens when our AI needs more validation?
You just you put a label over a port and just go plug into that for a second. Trust me, you'll get everything.
Yeah. He comes out of your quarters sometimes going, nice software. So there's that there.
You should see him make pancakes. Exactly the way Heather makes it. Explosion everywhere.
Well, he did get the recipe from me.
And one of the other dots are jealous of the chief because they said his data probe is much larger than theirs. So there's that.
Technically, there's gigabytes involved in the data, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, see, we got to do what number one does and set boundaries to these things. Mm-hmm. Oh, I still have my poker hat on from last night. I didn't see the light. We've been broadcasting, of course, as normal.
Oops.
Okay, wait.
Hi.
First off, thank you for joining us for another episode of Starfleet Underground, and collectively, we'd like to say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Wait. All at once. Happy New Year.
This is the first podcast of the new year, so you can see we can actually be very thrilled. Number one actually even cracked a little smile, so you know he's excited. He's normally just a little bit miffed because of the current events and everything, but we're here. So first off, I have my full crew complement today. I have my science officer.
Hi, I'm Heather Ferris. I'm the science officer, and I'm the one that told the Dot that he had to be a real boy to go to school, and I think that started a problem. So, Captain, if he comes up to you and starts saying weird shit, it might have come from me.
Oh, what fun. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm going to have to get number one to start reprogramming them.
They hear everything. They hear all our conversations. They just come back up with some weird stuff.
And they soak it up like a sponge.
Yeah, they do. And we got to change the parameters on him.
Kind of like a real boy.
Yeah, almost. Except he doesn't hide in the closet and whack it. So that's a good thing.
Don't give him any ideas.
Yeah. Oh, man. I wonder if they try to do that because I've been having socks missing.
You ever see them just sitting there in the hallway and just minding their own business, but their little hard drive light, the busy lights flashing on and off all the time? That's the equivalent to whacking off for a robot.
There you go.
That explains things.
It's just sitting there not doing anything, blinking.
I just thought he was busy.
Well, shit. Now you know where all your WD-40 went.
That explains things. Also, before we continue on with the introductions, I also have to say, Heather, how the hell did you wear that dress and nothing popped out or fell off or revealed?
Science.
That dress was barely there and it covered all the naughty bits. And I don't know how you did it. And you danced and none of the material moved out of the way.
It was
and what's
so
really
much
funny
fun.
is watching the crew, every time you twisted, they thought you was going to have something pop out and they go, oh, they get all upset and disappointed. So I thought that was hysterical.
The miracle, the thing that helps the most is Klingon Glue. You get some Klingon Glue, it's not going anywhere.
Oh, that explains things.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she gets really upset when you come up with touchy fingers.
Yeah, but that's also why I had to wear the same outfit for like 3 days. Because it wasn't coming off.
It wasn't coming off for 3 days.
It wasn't coming off.
But damn, you look good.
Thank you.
Yeah, very, very nice. And number one, I have not seen you dress so spliffy before. You really, really looked good.
Why's it got to be spliffy?
Huh?
Why's it got to be spliffy?
You were spliffy. Even the men and women were checking you out.
Well, spliffy is better than swiftly. At least you weren't swiftly.
Yeah. I didn't say spoogy.
Well, I would never go anywhere sploogey.
So, number one, introduce yourself. Oh my God, I just said your name like 3 times.
Hey, this is Patrick. I'm number 1. I'm the computer guy and the foreign species liaison, and I'm working on the episode guide for our podcast while we're doing this, so that's why I'm a little distracted.
So, you're multitasking.
Oh my goodness. You are not a multitasker.
Well, first off, also because he is not an alcoholic, he doesn't drink or anything like that. So he stayed sober enough to continue working while most of us was walking around saying, I'm not as think as you drunk I am. So speaking of a person who was mostly sober, but not completely sober, because I never thought the Starship would do donut circulate spins in space, is my chief engineer.
That's the double donut maneuver. I kind of learned that one from Detmer. Hi, everybody. I'm Rocky. I'm engineer of the show and the ship, and want to send some big shout outs to some other podcasts out there. I just love what the Nerd Trek podcast has been doing and what the SyFy Sistas have been doing, because they've been getting some badass interviews. Yeah, I'm not messing around with these interviews. These are good. I mean, they had Sneak with Martin Green on the SyFy Sistas.
That's awesome.
They had Rod and Roddenberry on the Nerd Trek podcast.
Wow.
I'm just like, dude, they're kicking ass. Big ups to those podcasts. You should go check them out.
Thank you for throwing down the gauntlet, because now we got to go ahead and
Ain't nobody going to interview with us because we just talk about Tribbles fucking and Dots doing weird shit.
Wait a minute. If we throw down the gauntlet, can we have heavy metal playing in the background? We threw down the gauntlet. Yeah.
We can play Sandman like they did on the last part of Willow last week. So that'll work.
Willow?
Yeah. The series.
Oh, okay.
Sandman as in Metallica?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Metallica's been getting some plays lately, haven't they?
Yeah,
Metallica and Kate Bush.
I heard a version of, oh God, was it Unforgiven? Was it Sad But True? I don't even remember what show it was, but they were sneaking an orchestral version of a Metallica song, and I was just like blown away at how cool that shit was.
That explains why you were sitting there staring at the speaker at the New Year's party.
I do that anyway. I'm a speaker freak.
I want something heavier than Metallica. Give me.
Scorpions.
I don't know. Serene. How do you sell it? I can't even say like half of the names. Give me some Iron Maiden. I could say that one.
Oh, Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Number of the Beast.
She likes some heavy metal.
Hey, Number of the Beast is a great album.
Yeah, it is. Or have you guys ever heard of Eluveitie? Eluveitie. That's really good. Do the Cauldron of Renaissance or the Somberlay or Senia.
No, I think I have not. I've not heard. I'll get the computer to play that after we're done. Okay, we're going to continue on here. This show is being brought to you by Section 31, as well as our Patreon people. So thank you out there. And we really appreciate the Patreon people who decide to stay with us. And even for Christmas, all they did was just lower their Patreon contribution just a little bit, but they didn't leave us. So that's greatly appreciated. So thank you very much. And again, a special thank you to all of those that are out there still listening to us for the new year. Speaking of the new year, let's see if we started off flawlessly or not. What do you got here for corrections? Anything?
Let me check subspace. Nope, nothing. We're clear.
Woo-hoo. Next up on our agenda. Wait, what do you mean you finished going to the academy? You mean you know all there is to know? You've reached the page that says you have reached the end of the internet. No, that's a joke page. Go back.
He's got to check every day because there's always more
This
to look at.
stuff coming.
Tell him to go refresh his feed.
Yeah, go refresh your feed. Okay, there's this. Look, mankind's been around for thousands of years and you've learned everything there is to learn? What do you mean, yes, you have? Okay, then what's the last digit of pi? What do you mean I'm not falling for that trick?
They know about that one.
You do not call me an asshole and
Oh,
Yeah, they're kind of offended by that.
dang.
Yeah, speaking of assholes, we're not for people under the age of 18.
Yeah. No kids.
So if you're there, don't listen to us. No kids allowed. So just like in Kanto, there's no clouds in the sky, no kids allowed in the
Our
podcast.
dots are set to a rating of R, an R rating.
No. Well, I thought that would keep him busy to compute pi to the last digit, but apparently he's
They
smart
find that
enough.
highly offensive, sir.
Yeah, I just found that out.
It's essentially
I've never
telling
been called an asshole by an
it's
inanimate
essentially
object.
telling a robot to go fuck itself.
Yeah, that's why you get
You
mad.
want me to go compute the last digit of pi? Go fuck yourself.
Oh man. Or like that comedy with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds, where the Middle Ages good day was basically equivalent to fuck off. Okay, we're talking about good days. News. Did you find anything for us during your New Year's Eve party?
I found out that if you ask Siri, I think it's what 0 divided by 0 is, she gives you a really snarky answer.
Oh, I'm gonna have to try that.
So, no, that's
the
not my
news?
news. So, if you guys watched Ready Room this week, we saw the
Oh, yeah.
newest teaser of Picard season 3 at the end of it. And I just want to point out a couple things. We learned one new thing, but I wanted to point out another thing. This is the first time we are going to have a crossover with 3 series. So it's the Next Generation, obviously. Jerry Ryan is going to represent Voyager, and Worf is supposed to tie into Deep Space Nine. So really excited about that. It's a 3-series crossover. And we learn who the villain of season 3 is. So the villain, her name is Amanda Plummer. And she is the daughter of Christopher Plummer, who played General Chane in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. And quoting the article, which is from Giant Freaking Robot, Picard Season 3 is poetic and a beautiful closing of the circle that most franchises never get to do.
I think, isn't Giant Freaking Robot one of those fake news websites?
It is.
Wait a minute, it's a fake news article?
But no, it sounds like a good editorial version of an article, because this information is based off of stuff I've heard before.
It's not even April Fool's. I did the wrong
No,
thing.
don't rely on good.
No. Anybody who believes a giant freaking robot, yeah.
yeah, don't rely on them for actual credible news.
Okay.
But their
Damn.
Giant Freaking Robot is like a broken clock. they're right twice a time, twice a day.
Yeah, sometimes even a giant freaking robot gets it right.
Shit. So I just
so it might be, if it is true.
It's like I just quoted a news item from The Onion.
Not quite that bad.
But if it is true, it will be pretty awesome because Christopher Plummer is a hell of an actor, and if she contains one iota of his acting ability, it will be very cool to see.
I just love that the family is involved still. The multi-generations of Star Trek, and you have multi-generations of actors that are in Star Trek. I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. I will say it is. Just like in Star Trek Continues, they had the daughter of the woman who, when she cried and it touched you, you were like hooked all the way time. And the only thing that Kirk survived it because he loved the ship more than any woman.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you remember that episode, where there was supposed to be no cure for her tears. At any rate, her daughter reprised her mother's role in Star Trek Continues on YouTube, and she looks exactly like her mother. Exactly. So I thought that was pretty cool.
If Kirk loves this ship more than he loves women, what kind of horrible sexual things did he do to that ship?
You see, love is more than just sex.
Not according to Kirk.
No. There is an emotional level to Kirk that we don't understand because it has nothing to do with sex. It's very weird.
It's very shallow.
Trust me, it's hard to wrap your head around, but he really loves the starship.
Really?
Yeah.
All captains really love their ships, because even with Kate Mulgrew, when they asked her what ship that she loved the most, and she instantly was like, that's not even a question.
Every captain represents their ship. It's their ship. It really is. It's like, whoa.
Like in Firefly, when in the movie, I think it was in Serenity, is when Mal has to go down and he says, okay, you're going to be captain of this ship. If I need you to come rescue me after a certain amount of time, you come rescue me.
I wish Mal had gone down on me.
I thought he was talking about something else for a moment.
No. And he goes, I really need to rescue. And so when he turns around and tells her that, she looks at him and goes, what? And risk my ship?
I thought you were going to talk about the scene where he's talking to River and love is what keeps her flying, that scene.
Oh, yeah.
I think River was on some good drugs, too. So.
Oh, yeah. That was a nice scene, too.
What was the mechanic's name?
Wash. No.
That's what
it was
Kaylee. That I can imagine Kaylee doing that, because she really worked on that ship. Like, that was her ship.
Yeah, well, her introduction was being screwed underneath the engine.
That was so wonderful.
Just corrected the other engineer.
It was funny because, you thought that was the main engineer, and he's dumber than a doornail, but, he's buff.
Yes. I love Firefly.
So that was kind of funny. Yeah. So speaking of love, what do you got for news there, number one?
Well, December 28th, 2022 would have been Nichelle Nichols' 90th birthday. And on that day, her new foundation was launched, the Nichelle Nichols Foundation. And what that is going to do is they're going to partner with existing organizations that have a proven track record of outreach, scholarships, training, and mentorship to increase women and diversity in STEAM education. And her sister, Marion, is the one who's the president of the foundation. She said, education is not a gateway to dreams. No, sorry. Education is the gateway to dreams.
That is a great quote. We'll just keep that quote.
Our young people are our future. With Nichelle Nichols as our guiding star, we continue the mission to make an impact in young people's lives and create a path for STEAM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, art, and math, in case you didn't know, and related education and careers. The Nichelle Nichols Foundation will advance her dream to inspire future generations who will shape our world in the image of Star Trek and its infinite diversity and infinite combinations, IDIC philosophy, a world that is diverse, kind, and peaceful. So you can get there by NichelleNichols.Foundation.
So what did you guys study and graduate with at Starfleet Academy or at college?
Penis envy?
Oh.
Mine was computers and psychology.
Nice. That's nice.
Computers and business.
Oh, you're in business. Wow. That's cool. Rocky?
Broadcasting.
Sweet.
No.
Where did that come from?
Say it ain't so.
Subspace technology. It's amazing.
I changed my major way too many times. If I could go back, it would be art and science. But when I was doing it, it was art, but I got pissed off at someone. And then, yeah, anyway.
Yeah, that's a hard one, too, because I've heard stories from people that they had this wonderful art instructor. Well, no, the art wasn't, the class was wonderful. The instructor wasn't.
Oh, the instructor was horrible. The instructor was so horrible.
You what you're doing is worthless. And everyone's looking at this art that this dude's doing. And it's like, dude, they're fucking insane. You're amazing. What are they talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one thing to teach it. It's another thing to judge it.
Yeah.
This is very true because it's subjective. There's a book called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance where the guy gets obsessed of trying to figure out, is something a classic because it was born or made a classic, or does it become a classic once everyone recognizes it to be a classic? And that was his quest to try to figure that out. And it was a really good book. But yeah, it is subjective.
In that class, I ended up getting an F because I did all the assignments, but apparently I didn't do the assignments the way he wanted me to do the assignments. But he didn't actually lay out like, hey, this is how you're supposed to do it. So
fuck that guy.
I'm like, yeah, I was just so mad. But then
an F is a dick move.
You got to have room for out of the box thinkers. There's got to be room for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And giving you an F is a dick move because he could have, if he wasn't pleased, he didn't have to fail you. He could have gave you a D or C minus.
And we had the whole semester for him to tell me you're not doing it right.
Yeah, he's an ass.
Like, if you're watching me do it. Anyway, after that, I did psychology, teaching, accounting, forensic investigation, and probably one or two more, but I can't remember what they were.
Cool.
And for those of you out there, a little bit of a pro tip. Don't take computers and psychology as a double major because you remember just enough to fuck you up for the rest of your life. you get abstract and logic don't usually go together. So I'll just say that.
You know what I did enjoy? I enjoyed coming up with the science of things, and it came up through multiple areas because I wasn't just taking broadcasting classes. I was still in the band and doing audio type sort of things, and I was also involved in the theatrics. And
you were in a band? Did you play the flute?
I played flute in the concert band, and it was a lot of fun. But
you Picarded it.
Right, there you go. It wasn't quite it wasn't the Ressican flute. But anyway, the carryovers, because learning about audio was one of the things that affected all of those areas at the same time.
Yeah.
So I went in all those classes at the same time, not quite exactly knowing what I'm doing with my life. And I saw all the things that kind of went the same because everybody's talking about this audio thing and this digital audio. And it was like, oh, wow, it's coming at me from all these directions. It could go any one of these fields. And that was the beautiful thing about it, because you could get into the broadcast side of things, but then you could say, oh, I could do work in the theatrical side of things, or I could do work in the musical side of things, because it was all audio.
Well, that's the one thing I learned is you could be amazing at shooting a camera, but if your audio's not good, it's going to be a piece of shit. Like, you have to have good audio. It's so important to have good audio.
That's true.
Excuse me, you lost me when you said multiple and coming at me in all directions. My mind.
Well, when you said shooting a camera, I'm like, oh, what kind of shooting are we doing?
Okay.
We're not talking about that holodeck program. That's a different holodeck program.
Chief.
Yo,
what do you have for news-wise?
News-wise, I was checking this out. This is cool. So, you know that giant memorial thing they were doing to remember Leonard Nimoy at the Boston Museum of Science?
Yeah, and nobody wanted to up the money for it.
Yeah, it was like this great idea. It was a 20-foot illuminated stainless steel sculpture of the infamous, wonderful Live Long and Prosper salute. And I'm like, whoa, this is fucking cool. That's a great way to honor Leonard Nimoy. And from Boston, where he came from. I mean, that's just awesome. But yeah, then you start to hear like, yeah, but how are we going to fund it? I was like, oh, shit. they came up with this great idea and no one's going to fund it. That's fucked up. They're
That's kind of important.
You're like, they're going to have to wait for decades to make the money for this. No, they're not, because what happened was one of the Android co-founders put up the money for this. So
okay.
This is awesome.
Nice.
I was just going to say, go to that billionaire that made like the Starship as one of his offices. He has plenty of money to spend on like Star Trek stuff.
Well, apparently so does some of the people that co-founded Android.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, isn't that cool? So that was my happy news to wrap up the year with. I thought that was so cool.
That is really cool news. And I'm glad that, somebody decided to use their money to hopefully spread the IDIC, that people look at that and goes, I wonder what's this about. We'll do research. and then become fan of the Starfleet Underground.
They look at that finger spread and they think, what is that? Is that like a sex thing? What is going on with that? It's like, no, that's a Vulcan live long and prosper thing. Have you heard about Star Trek?
It's called the Shocker.
It's called the Vulcan Shocker. No, it's not a sex thing.
Speaking of sex things, my news is for people who are voracious readers, this will give them an orgasm.
Oh my.
Titan Books releases a new anthology of Star Trek fiction. So if you can't get enough of reading Star Trek, they just let out a whole bunch of short stories from the best known Star Trek writers. They got collections of Hugh and False and a whole bunch of other legacy Star Trek series, from the original series to Enterprise, and even from the world of Star Trek the Motion Picture. The volume is being represented by Star Trek Explorer magazine and includes all kinds of stories from Captain Kirk discovering enigmatic Q and a romantic Delta IV reunion between Decker and Liam.
Whoa.
And to the Borg's origin and Captain's Archer first time in the captain's chair.
Cool.
So it's going to be illustrated entry in a 96-page hardcover edition. So I expect my first officer is going to get it very soon.
Oh my.
The authors are going to be Lisa Click, James Swallow, Una McCormick, Christopher Cooper, Chris Dowles, Peter Holstrom, and Greg Cox. So just with those two names there, Swallow Cox, I'm sure that
whoa, what's going on the writing side of things
there. So if you want to get a complete listing of the contents and sample images, just go to space.com and you can order Star Trek Q and False and other stories in Amazon, or wherever you go buy your books, whatever bookstores survived the Purge Wars. So there's that. That being said, it comes now to the part where I guess the reason why we have this podcast, not just to get together and talk when the ship's on
That's
gray
not
mode.
the reason?
It's not just tribbles, sex jokes, and Vulcan Shockers.
That's the whole reason why I come every weekend.
No, that's not
that
the
didn't
reason.
Could you
sound
say
right.
that again? That was pretty hot.
That didn't sound right.
That's why people listen to our show.
Well,
Wow.
that's the way Lana does. So
Oh, jeez.
I got to say something so Lana can get her fix. Patrick, is the original series, was that being by Captain Cirque? What was his name? Captain Cirque? The first of the USS Enterprise. No, Captain Cirque with his first officer Splook. What were the names?
Splook.
What were the names?
I'm just be quiet.
You have to correct me or Lana won't get her fix. Correct me.
Be quiet.
Correct me.
I don't know. I like Captain Splooge. Can we just keep that?
That was First Officer Splooge. Oh, that sounds disgusting.
Come on.
You know, that's a perfect name for number one.
And what was his thing he used to say? Live long and proper. Come on,
Live
damn
logs.
it, correct me.
Live logs and proper.
That's right. Correct me. I'm trying to get Lana her fix for the new year.
Nope.
Man, you're leaving Lana high and dry.
You can't just force it, sir. You got to do it naturally.
Well, that's true.
If you fake it, everybody knows.
Well, everybody knows what's the difference between a sadist and a masochist. Masochist goes, hurt me, hurt me, hurt me, and a sadist goes, no. So speaking about Hurt So Good, let's go ahead with the recap.
Hi, Captain. So this week we watched Star Trek Prodigy Season 1, Episode 20, Season Finale, Supernova Part 2. It first aired December 29th, 2022. Act 1, Saving Starfleet. Feeling hopeless, our Prodigy crew stares at the Starship graveyard in disbelief. What to do? Dal suggests blowing up the ship, and Jankom counters with the fact that their Protostar engine will blow up everything in a 50 million mile radius, including themselves. Rok-Tahk, the genius of the group, suggests going to proto-warp just as the engine explodes. This will spread the damage out through space and time. They can save Starfleet and still live through the experience. Woo-hoo. But the autopilot controls are broken, so someone has to Thelma and Louise this bitch. Dal volunteers to go down with the ship, but Janeway intercedes.
Stop it. Stop.
Stop playing with your pussy.
Stop. I'm not playing with it. That's why it's whining.
That's why it's whining.
Are you still watching Data's cat?
No, I have my own spot.
Oh,
You
okay,
have your own.
cool.
He has his own pussy in his room. Okay, so back to it. Dal volunteers to go down with the ship, but Janeway intercedes. There can be 2 of her, but only 1 of him. Can't fight that logic, so it's a plan. Break. Our Prodigy crew drives away from this horrendous space freeway pileup and prepares for fireworks. Rok 3D prints an escape pod with very basic necessities since, they only have about 5 minutes to do this. Jankom is a miracle worker as he sets up the proto drive, and Janeway is supposed to be uploading her code, but the file size is too big for a USB and they can't connect to the cloud. So she records a Hallmark hologram farewell card instead. The crew says goodbye to the bridge, the ship, and unknowingly Hologram Janeway. After escaping on a half-built shuttle pod, they watch Janeway heroically blow herself and the Protostar up as they proto-warp away, and it tears itself apart. The starships stop attacking each other, and Starfleet has been saved. Whee! Janeway would want to see this. Our crew puts in Janeway's USB, but they get her voicemail from a pocket mini-me version. She couldn't leave the ship, and instead saved the crew by sacrificing herself. Go boldly. I cried.
I think it was 50 million light years, not 50 million miles.
Oh, did I? Okay.
Well, Jankom
Hey, we got the correction. We got the correction for Lana.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
You're welcome, Lana.
No, well Jankom said 50 million mile radius. He did say 50 million mile.
Did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
But yeah, it was a huge distance we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because 50 million miles. Usually they don't talk about miles in space. It's usually
They've got a science expert on this show. They were referencing science experts on this show, so I'm sure they got that number accurate to some certain, parameter.
Okay.
If not, they fucked up.
But it was definitely a tearjerker for this one.
Jeez.
I cried.
I jerked some tears.
And to see the look on Holo-Janeway's face when she realizes that she couldn't download herself to the isolinear chip.
I thought this was kind of messed up because she kind of got too big. They're basically saying Janeway got fat.
Yeah, and it was an isolinear chip, not a USB drive.
Yeah.
Well, it's a USB drive. It really is.
But they couldn't zip her file into that sucker and make it fit.
No.
Also, too, so she had all this space on the USB, and she couldn't put a fucking star chart in there to help them find the way home.
Yeah, they could put a little GPS, beacon in there someplace.
Right? Like, put the Google Maps directions on there, please.
Hang a right at Centauri Prime. Come on.
Third star on the left and straight on till morning.
Right, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Just turn on the beacon and listen for the beacon.
Oh, my.
It was pretty kind of first off for them to come up with the idea of what's going on and to figure out how can we save everyone. And then once again, Rok-Tahk.
Well, yeah, Rok-Tahk was like, here's the idea.
Yeah, Rok-Tahk does it again.
Rok is a genius.
Oh, my goodness. And this Rok-Tahk just goes ahead and figures it out. And I really love the fact that, again, I'm so impressed with Dal. From someone who was a constant annoyance to me to he's grown to be up there with my favorite characters. He was willing to sacrifice himself right off the bat.
Did you hear how serious he got? The tone just went flip. Oh my God. Dal just realized that the only way to fix this is to have somebody ride the ship out Thelma and Louise style. He was either going to be Thelma or Louise, and he was ready to ride that sucker on out.
Yeah.
Well, the thing he forgot is, even if he did do that, even if he did pilot the ship and die, Janeway was still on the ship. She still would have died with the ship.
And that's why Janeway said, hold on, kiddo.
Yeah, but he didn't know that. And he wouldn't have known that because of the fact that, well, maybe if they were on the ship and he decided to do it and then they tried to download her, then they figured out that she can't.
Doing it good.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
Sorry.
But the fact is that happened and the crew wasn't there to see Janeway fail. And even the look on her face as a hologram, she's like, I don't fit. My skinny jeans are no more.
Yeah.
That's the worst feeling when your skinny jeans don't fit you anymore.
You know, when you put on your Starfleet uniform and it doesn't fit the way it's supposed to, you realize, well, I've never fit in that fucking thing. But anyway.
That's why my scant has been hung up in the closet.
I have to admit that I ate one too many cakes that were not prepared by me, and I sort of gained some weight, and I had to redo my dresses.
Okay.
At least my sewing's better than my cooking.
The one you glued on was really well fitting. So
yes, thank you. I jerry-rigged that bitch.
And that's why all the tribbles are running around singing "Babies Got Back."
Love that. Okay. Now, this is not the first time the crew of the ship has had to deal with, taking a hologram crew member with them. Janeway had to deal with that on Voyager in season 1, episode 7, Eye of the Needle, when they were trying to beam the Doctor out. They've had that problem with the Doctor before.
Yeah, that's right. And they had to look at what memories to keep, what's not, because he grew so much past his buffers. Mm-hmm. It was a good episode until they finally got that holo emitter, which allowed him to be mobile.
Which, I'm sorry, why don't they put that on every single ship? Like, why is that not, part of each ship's
I guess it's
standard?
a unique situation because you wouldn't want somebody like Moriarty being out in the wild.
Yeah.
So we're going to get him out in the wild.
Yeah.
So
spoilers.
Yeah. And when they are leaving, when they're driving out of the space freeway, we see Janeway, the real Admiral Janeway, and her ship. Did you guys notice that everybody is dying or being blown up and they're just sitting there like, hey, we're just, watching TV. It's a lazy Saturday.
Did you notice how quick the phaser fire is on all these starships blowing each other up to hell by a computer program that's supposed to destroy everything very quickly because it's a computer program? Computers work fast, right? Nope, they just take their time. Zap. Okay, I'll hit this starship over here. Zap. It's so slow and like a ballet music could be playing. Da 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 da. Zap zap. Zap zap. Da 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 da. Zap zap. Zap zap. It just seemed a little lethargic the way the Starfleet computer systems have been. If they're going to blow everything up, they're taking their sweet old time.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably because I thought about that. It's probably because it's being run by an alien AI to get it to do all of that. And so it's not doing the most efficient use of power.
It has a buffer.
So it's doing it's like, okay, we're going to fire. Use all the energy. Fuck. Okay, I got to wait for it to build up again. Use all the energy.
That's like, probably it.
Got to wait for it to build up again.
Between that and, and the starships are trying to play Spotify playlists at the same time, and they can't take their time to divert all power to the phasers.
Guess what would probably happen is I would have downloaded Star Trek the Motion Picture in 8K.
Yeah. And you want to open the Word file at the same time. Nope, somebody's going to have to wait.
The ship attacked all the ship on multiple levels. They intercepted all of their audio communications and sat there and blasted, let's say, Faith of the Heart Enterprise. Oh, no, I like Metallica. That's good. No, something really horrible. Something like the worst music you could possibly think of. And they had that playing on all the ships. Yes, that song. Exactly. It was a multiple front attack.
Well, Janeway, you notice her ship, because it was supposed to be like this big war vessel.
Aren't they supposed to be in the escape pods by now? They're all just standing around. It doesn't feel weird.
They couldn't. Well, most really professional people, if you ever listen, that's been trained their whole life for things. If you listen to the black box for planes that are going down, you don't hear the pilot and stuff screaming. They're like, we've lost control of the aviation. The ground is coming up and we're going to hit it like a lawn dart. Goodbye, everybody. And they just go, and that's the way it is.
We're gonna die.
Yeah, so that doesn't
I just figured that was the part of the black box that they didn't release to the public.
Yeah, they always cut that part out.
That's the classified version,
Oh, man, there's a possibility. Never thought about that. It could be like in the movie Clerks. You know, as they go right, fuck
I
you,
love Clerks.
fuck you, fuck you.
Oh, that
You
wasn't
were cool.
Clerks.
What was it?
That was a different. I can't remember. It was a stoner movie that I love,
Oh,
but I
was it
can't.
just-
It wasn't Clerks though.
Was it Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back or something like that?
No.
Another one of those.
Or was
Oh.
it the one where the guy got arrested for giving the police horse pot?
Oh,
You know, and he talks
was that
about
half
I got to
baked?
get out of jail because that's it. Because a nasty
Half
Nate.
baked. That's it.
Half
yeah.
baked. That was a good one.
Half baked. That was so good.
Yeah, half baked was good.
That was me most of the 80s.
Where they had the guy on the sofa, didn't know who the hell he was. He just came with the apartment.
It's right.
So funny. It's
Oh my
hilarious.
God.
Yeah. But
Did you
that was-
guys notice the Klingon bird of prey lowered shields
Yeah.
while all the starships
Mm-hmm.
were still lit up red and then they all went blue? I thought that was a slight discrepancy of order of operations.
Well, they lost their shields. They were getting ready to die, and then that's
they
when it
lost the
stopped.
shields. I
They
thought
lost
they just
the
turned them
shields.
off because no
Like,
Klingon
no.
bird of prey are just going to turn off
No.
their shields.
No,
The
they
shields
lost
went
it.
to zero.
Yeah.
Like those
They were
shields were
done.
at zero. Yeah.
Okay.
And the look on her face is like, we came to help you and Starfleet's going to kill us anyway. Fuck you, Starfleet. It just looked like that's what she was going to say.
If the shields failed on a Klingon bird of prey, it's like ramming speed. Wait, the red light's turned to blue. Don't ram. No, just park it. It's okay.
No, my opinion is like, okay, the shields are down, and then I would yell, cloak, and just get ninja style out of there. But she, like a warrior, wanted to die in the blaze of glory. But it was definitely a tear-jerking moment.
Oh
when they
yeah,
all
big time.
decide
But it was still entertaining, and they brought up the hold on to your butt handles.
Yeah.
I thought that was cute. I mean, if they're going to come out with we can only build the starships or the shuttle pod so quickly. Got to cut a few things. Seats, we don't need seats. Seat belts. Fuck that.
Did you notice that one of the wheels on the bottom of the ship was gone? So it only had like one stand or one wheel
Wheels
or
on the
one,
ship
set of
round and
legs.
round and round.
But
round
it still
and
was a
round.
sexy looking shuttle for being something that
That's
was
true.
like half baked. It was really pretty lines. I really liked the lines on that thing. So it was nice.
I'm just glad they remembered to put a replicator in there.
I'm glad they put the top on the damn thing before they opened the door.
Yeah,
Well, they were
really.
there for a month, like replicator. They better put a replicator in there. That's kind of important.
Wait, there was a month time slip before we saw them?
Yeah, it was a month they were in there.
Wasn't it a year?
Well, it was a month
No,
on
I
Earth.
think it was a year. Yeah, it was a month before.
Okay.
Well, first off,
But the year before, well, I guess that's the next section, and we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's the other section, which is also a nice section. So, woman with the magic dress. Continue.
Do you mean go to Act 2?
Yes, please.
Okay. Act 2, great speeches is a job requirement. 1 month later at Starfleet headquarters, they haven't found the kids, but they did find the Protostar's resting place. It tore a hole through space-time, creating a wormhole directly to Chakotay, 52 years in the future. They're going to send an exploratory ship to look for Chakotay, and Admiral Janeway wants to be on that ship. Just then, a cadet runs in saying that the kids have just landed their escape pod and they are now on Earth. The first thing Starfleet does is throw them in front of a judge and a jury to be tried for their crimes, such as stealing a ship, impersonating Starfleet officers, being in the mind of an esteemed admiral, and the list of offenses would take me all afternoon to read. Janeway gives a heartfelt speech and advocates for the augment. The Federation is made up of 150 species. Dal's DNA includes 26 of them. Is there a better living embodiment of what our alliance represents?
Well, maybe.
That speech, I thought was really inspired because the fact that she said that, really, if you turn around and says, well, he's still not in Starfleet, that would be a dick move because you're basically saying those 27 other species doesn't deserve to be in Starfleet as a combination.
Yeah,
so
like,
I think they didn't have
you can't just say
a
that.
choice.
There's got to be somebody in there going, sir, no, don't say that. Don't say that.
Don't say your mother's one of those species.
Oh my God.
So
No, that wouldn't be
But
cool to
it
say. You
was-
can't say that. It's not cool.
No, but again, Starfleet showed at least they were willing to listen because they're like, we're going to nail you because of the full extent of the law. And Janeway's like, look, they saved us. You got to take these things into an account.
Yeah, it's like we wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for these crazy kids over here. These kids, you know, these kids, we got to be cool with these kids because they saved our ass.
I think my favorite line of the whole speech was he enhanced in every way? Look at him. And I just bawled laughing. Like I was just on the ground fucking laughing.
He was like, wait a minute.
Well, then she says, look at him. Of course not. And I'm like, ouch, burn.
Like, burn.
Seriously,
but when
and
she
the look on his face.
Yes.
He's like,
yes. What? When she first said that, though, I'm laughing. I'm like, oh, looks like you got the Klingon genes in that area.
Oh, my.
You know, because he turned around and she said that, and you see him, he's got the Dumbo ears. His hair is all fucked up. He's got the tail. She's like, does he look like an Adonis or Fabio? Come on.
She's like, look at the kid. Come on, look at him.
I thought that was funny.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
Was he enhanced in every way?
Oh, my.
That was...
I'm sure we would have known by now
funny.
if he was.
Yeah,
well,
she
Gwen,
was in his body.
not
Multiple
us.
techniques.
Gwen would have known.
She was in his body. So,
Well, they didn't have
that's
a...
true.
Janeway was. Yeah, Janeway was.
Who would know better? That she's like, I've been inside you.
Oh, my God.
She's like, it was hard for me to walk down the court.
I've heard that so many times.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Not from Janeway.
But that was
No.
But that whole speech, I thought, and being delivered by an admiral who carries a lot of weight. Well, with her experience,
that was
and everything.
cool. And I was getting some into the last episode of Enterprise vibes because the room they were in kind of reminded me of that sort of scene. It also reminded me of the scene in Star Trek 5, the end of that one, or where they yelling at Kirk and then they give him the ship anyway. Yeah, that was Star Trek 5, right?
Oh, that was when you were Pente.
Yeah, well,
Before
when they got him back from Ruth Penthe, and well, no, Ruth Penthe was 6. It was before that. It was they got back from Vulcan after putting Spock back in his head.
Hey, number one, what's the right answer?
Right. Come on.
I don't know.
4. It was fucking 4. This is Rocky editing from the future. It was Star Trek 4, you dork. It's, the whole thing where you're assembled before the heads of Starfleet and they're yelling at you.
Number one doesn't know.
He went to the Genesis planet without permission.
Yeah, I know, and I can't think of the.
Yeah, that was Planet Forbidden.
I think we stumped number one. I think that's the first time that's happened.
I think it's my delivery of the line probably stumped him because I didn't say it correctly.
Because that was the voyage.
But yeah, so
search for Spock.
The kids getting yelled at felt like when they had Kirk's crew up in front of Starfleet and they're getting yelled at. How do you plead? And,
it did feel that way. I agree. It did feel that way.
But they also channeled the vibes of San Francisco and when they landed in the bay and there's the Golden Gate Bridge with what's going on with the Golden Gate Bridge because we don't drive over that thing anymore. It had all those looks of Starfleet in there, and that was cool.
I'm impressed. I'm really impressed that they got the right part of Earth. Like, they didn't land in Paris. They didn't land in Japan. They landed, like, right in front of the steps of Starfleet.
I would bet good money.
Oh, they landed right in the middle of the bay, right next to the bridge.
I would bet good money that was Rok-Tahk.
Damn close.
I bet you Rok-Tahk is the one that piloted.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, if you want to go sign up for Starfleet, what better place to go than land right in San Francisco? Also,
another thing to mention is talk about an off-screen moment of awesomeness. This crew wasn't rescued. They freaking managed to fly a barely functional like shuttle with no navigational like system or support all the way to Earth by themselves. And I'm sorry, you're going to be a little bitch and be like, no, they have to take the test. They have to pass, all of this shit. It's like, look what they've done. They've done more than what most cadets could do. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm going on a rant.
But no, you're right.
No, it's a valid argument because these kids have kicked some ass, in the way of, what things Starfleet cadets can do.
They were even able to get away from the Tal Shiar. Like, who can fucking do that as a normal fucking, like, Starfleet officer?
Even Janeway was like, who are those kids?
Yeah.
They did an excellent job for basically being a ragtag group of people who got together to escape a slavery planet and they manage to mold themselves into a crew. And they're out there waiting in a hall, and everyone knows how nerve-wracking it is to wait in a hall while somebody else decides your direction of your life. And she comes out, and Dal is like, okay, I'm going to go.
Well, that's the next section, right?
Oh.
Officially?
Next section.
You know what?
Technically, yeah.
Technically,
Before we go to the next section. So they are talking about Chakotay, and they established that the events from the original crew on the Protostar ended up doing the alternative future, which took place like 52 years. Okay, so here's my thing. This show was taken at 2384. That's 1 year before Children of Mars, and it's the same year as Lower Decks. And that's when this is happening, is during that period. And then 52 years in the future would be 2436, which is 35 years after season 2 of Picard. So I just wanted to get that timeline, like where we're at, like.
Yes, Chakotay is stuffed in the future.
Yeah, he's not too bad in the future. He's only 35 years after season 2 of Picard. So right now they're at the Lower Decks, Children of Mars area.
It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to all do that, because they left a lot of breadcrumbs for stuff.
And the cleaning dots are just going having a field day with those breadcrumbs.
Yeah, they are.
Somebody's got to get those breadcrumbs. The way Holo-Janeway went out, it was so beautiful. And then the starship exploded in the beautiful way that it did, and opened up a wormhole to the future that was programmed to exactly be the wormhole that took Chakotay there in the first place. So the lines up and matches exactly for the yin to its yang of solving this issue. We need to get the Chakotay, and then we suddenly hear that's where he is. I thought that was a beautiful way for Holo-Janeway to go out.
It was. She wound up being a pathfinder in order to finally fix that mystery.
I was crying.
It was pretty cool. It was a touching part. And I guess we should move to the next one unless anybody else has anything to add.
Nope.
Aye, Captain. Act 3, Temporal Shenanigans. After Janeway's heartfelt speech, the tribunal drops all charges and allows Janeway to take 5 of them under her wing as warrant officers in training, in the ship of her choosing. They weren't accepted into Starfleet Academy, but they will be a part of Starfleet. But wait a minute, there's 6 of them. Who isn't going? Was it Dal? Nope, Dal got in. So who? Gwyn. Gwyn is not going because she's leaving to carry out her father's legacy of saving her people. They will drop Gwyn off at her home planet before going on their adventure. Destined to become
going on an adventure.
Destined to become Gwyndala the Unifier. While at Starfleet, Zero got an Aperture Science Cooperative Testing Partner body. He picked the round one. Rok-Tahk explores the science division and has a new field of study to explore called Xenobiologist, the study of new life forms. Jankom unofficially taught an engineering class, and Dal and Gwyn said goodbye with a consenting kiss and a cuddle. Argane watches Gwyn fly home into the sunset, and then they see the newest Protostar ship. Theirs was a prototype, and now the higher-ups have approved a new class of starships, the Protostar class. But Janeway has bigger things in store for them.
First off, where the fuck are they finding all these Protostars?
Yeah.
You go to 7-Eleven, they got them right next to the Slurpee machine.
Oh, I thought they were near the jerkies.
No, you were looking near the jerky. No, it's near the Slurpee machine.
That's why I didn't see them.
Yeah, and right next to the xenobiology.
Yeah.
Not the ex-xenobiology apartment.
Now, I've had some people actually bring this up, and I'm going to bring it up because I know a lot of people who may not know military rank structure.
I got excited about this.
Yeah, they were all again because
we know the dots had to clean it up.
I know.
They were like, well, wait a minute. That means that the people on Prodigy, they have more rank than O'Brien, but not as much rank as Harry Kim.
Yeah.
Okay.
Harry Kim is forever fucked. Sorry.
Poor Harry Kim.
I didn't even realize that. That's amazing. Okay. I'm all for it. Poor Harry
But the
Kim.
thing is, when you have in the military, you have what they call listed and then officer rank. Okay. Enlisted rank, or for even in Starfleet, I guess Starfleet, everybody's an officer unless you go down the military route, which it seems like they did. You start from private all the way up until you get to E9, which is either a master gunnery sergeant or so on. What happens at that time, if an enlisted wants to become an officer, they go what they call as the gunner ranks, which means you become a warrant officer. And once you're a warrant officer, you go up 3 steps in the warrant officer rank, and then you become a bona fide officer. So what they did in order to get a loophole is that they turned around and made them warrant officers because of the experience. They took their experience and put their rank according to their experience, which is nothing different than if someone goes to boot camp with college and they come out promoted from boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if you go to boot camp and you have a college education, you can get promoted coming out as a private first class or even a lance corporal because you had college. Or if you decide to become an officer, you just skipped all that experience and you're now leading people and you have no practical experience on how to lead. These kids had experience. So that's why they made them warrant officers.
Okay.
They can't command anybody on the Starship yet, because warrant officers in a ship full of officers, they have no pull. But even Ensign Crusher would have more pull than they would.
Well, so going by the ranks, it goes warrant officer, ensign, lieutenant junior, lieutenant, lieutenant commander, commander, and then captain. So where are you on this, number one?
I'm just under commander.
Ah, you're lieutenant commander.
I'm under a commander.
Commander.
You're under a command. Oh la la! I didn't know you were under a command. Damn. Good job.
I can be under or over. It depends. Whatever the mood of the day takes me.
But what I was going to say was, so the enlisted Marquis on Voyager, they were all warrant officers.
Pretty much.
And like you said, Miles O'Brien at the very beginning of Deep Space Nine, he was considered a warrant officer. And warrant officers wear 1 black pip. And if you want more information about this, check out Star Trek Encyclopedia 3rd edition on page 211. Thank you, Memory Alpha.
I love my researcher.
Wow.
She's just amazing.
She got it down to the page number.
I
Holy
know.
shit.
I got really excited about this.
Come on, what's the which paragraph? What line number?
I know, right?
Oh, it's a whole lower half of the page.
That's a whole nother podcast, honestly. You can go listen to her other podcast where she gives you the paragraph line, word number. I was impressed with the way they just, out of all of that the way they decided Gwendala is going to become the unifier. She's like, oh, she's just going to go unify her people. Gwendala, the unifier. I thought that was
that name.
Poetic on its own.
Very.
Really, because she's determined to save her place. And it was very mature, their goodbye. Is like,
yeah.
Oh,
you know.
Well, they've had a year. I mean, there's a span in time, a year. Somewhere in there, they said a year. I'm not sure if it was a year between them coming back to Starfleet and getting this decision, or was it a year since they came off the planet and came out to here?
No, it was the year since they escaped and stole the Protostar, right?
Yeah, I think that might be what it is. But throughout this entire time, you could see the moment that they're sitting next to each other. Dal has gotten a little bit taller. I think he had a little growth spurt because he's just because he had to get up on his tippy toes to give her the kiss last episode. So there's been some time or something because when they're sitting the thing, it evened out, and it was really hot and sexy the way Dal is just completely matured there.
I love the subtle, the hand touching. I thought was really nice because a lot of times just for someone you care about, just a simple touch can really waylay a lot of insecurities and emotions and everything else. I thought that was nice.
And then, a simple touch can convey a lot, like when you get the kick in the balls after doing a simple touch. Lots of communication right there in that movement.
Well, yeah. Even Star-Lord figured that. It's like, oh, the first time you missed it, but the second time you got them both right there.
God.
So, yeah. But it was nicely done, and they handled it like a very mature relationship. I thought that was nice. And she's going off to try to prevent her father from coming back, basically. and trying to destroy everything.
They did a whole timey-wimey like ball thing.
Yeah, it's going to be.
This next season 2 sounds like it's going to be completely, head popping.
It's going to be a pretzel.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, because how they're going to do this? Because you're right,
Exactly.
It is going to be split off to timelines. Because if she goes there and convince her people not to do anything in the future, then
it's going to be similar to the Kelvin timeline of the reboot films. So then you have to have 2 distinct timelines existing that don't affect each other.
Are we going to have the split? We're going to follow both stories. We're going to follow the kids going off with Janeway, and then we're going to follow Gwendala going back to her home world.
I don't know, because I don't think she's strong enough to have a whole episode.
I know. It's
just by herself.
Well, that could be its own show, really, if you really want to get down into it. But it'll be interesting to see what they go and where they, how it comes together.
Also, they still have to save Chakotay, so they're going to be going in the future, going in the past, going in the future, so it's going to be this whole thing.
I knew there was going to be time travel. I just didn't realize it was going to be the whole next season, not this episode.
Well, also, too, you have to think about it. So if they go and they save Chakotay, and if Gwen does what she wants to do and prevents first contact from blowing up in their faces, that technically means that Gwen was never born. And so then you have the grandfather paradox.
Oh,
yeah, that's true.
Wow.
It's going to be interesting how they're going to fix that.
That'll really impress Dal.
Jeez.
When the chickies fall and he fell for it, it kind of disappears into nothingness because of a time loop issue.
Yeah.
It's going to be really...
But then they would have never met.
They never would have met.
Oh
She never would have been born.
And the show never would have happened.
And how could they have saved Starfleet from the construct if she wasn't around?
And the construct was their...
Cat boots.
Yeah, well...
It's all about the cat boots.
They were all cat boots.
I'm glad they brought that up.
It's the grandfather paradox.
There's a book by Ray Bradbury called, it's a short story, By His Bootstraps.
By his cat boots?
And it deals a little...
By who?
By his cat boots. Ray Bradbury.
Ray Bradbury?
Bradbury.
Radbury.
Yeah, not Radbury.
Yo, Radbury, come here.
You're crossing Ray Bradbury
Get off
and
of
Gene
that typewriter.
Roddenberry.
Come over here.
I
Show
love
us that
it.
thing you do. Get
I
Radbury over
fucking
here.
love it.
Lana,
That was awesome.
Lana, you're welcome. What it's interesting is about a guy who's trying to develop time travel. And as he's sitting there, a portal opens up behind him, and there's a person there telling him that he can't go into the portal to stop it. And when he's listening to him, another person comes out of a portal and tackles the one that says, don't go because you really have to go. And so while he's doing that, he jumps through the time portal anyway, and then he realizes he made a mistake. So he figures to get a time portal to go back to stop himself from going through the portal. And he goes through a portal just in time to see himself trying to get himself into a portal. Well, it continues that way. Every step passes another future version of him. So it was interesting. But I did like the way that Prodigy tied up everything. It kind of gave us closure, but not really.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, so it was nice. I think it was a hell of a first season, and it really makes me excited to see what they're going to do for next season. And for a children's show, because you get the Nickelodeon commercials with it, it still was really good.
Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon, not Nickelodeon.
Oh, you're just giving her multiples today, aren't you, Patrick?
Well, you're stepping in it left and right.
I didn't hear that one, but okay.
Yeah, he said Nickelodeon.
Did you guys notice on the shuttlecraft at the end of the episode, the registry number on the shuttlecraft they were on?
No, I didn't pay that close attention.
No, but people on Twitter did.
Yes. So
what was the registry?
It was NCC 74656-A, and the 74656 is the registry number for Voyager. So this is basically like Voyager A. So this is like the big plans that she has in store might be a newly commissioned Voyager A instead of another Protostar class. And it's possible because in Star Trek Discovery, we saw Voyager J, so it had to start somewhere.
It makes a lot of sense because even Kate Mulgrew said in the Ready Room that she's really, if she could pick any starship, the captain, which would it be? And she says it has to be Voyager again.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting. I'm looking forward to next season. I think that they did a really good first run of this. The characters showed a lot of growth. You showed the adaptability.
They were able to show the growth because they had 20 freaking episodes for one season.
Well, you got a good point on that.
It's like we're not used to that anymore. We're used to 10 episodes.
But, they weren't full on. I mean, these are cartoon episodes, so they're not the full length, though.
Yeah, they were 30 minutes. So if you do count that would be 10 hours, which would be the same as Picard and all the rest.
If I could offer any constructive criticism to any of this last episode felt like it got squeezed in, like they cut stuff and scissored stuff together to make it work because
like
they were
what
trying
kind
to
of
hit
things?
a time. Well, it just felt rushed, like the segments of the acts, the way they cut, it felt really abrupt. Like it didn't feel like it breathed enough to fit, to feel natural to me. Sometimes episodes do that, and it's just like they were squeezing it in, I thought.
I didn't get that feeling because they wrapped it up. Well, it was a 30-minute episode, right? So they wrapped up the end of the episode in 15 minutes, and then the other 15 minutes was like what happened after that.
It felt rushed to me. I wanted a little bit more breathing on this one. But they were jumping time, they would quick blow up the ship at the, right at the beginning of the show. And then we got to resolve everything at the end. And it just kind of felt really rushed to me.
I'd love to see them go 35 years into the future and then be greeted by Dal and Gwen's child.
Whoa. I was just impressed that Jankom's tool first came out and it looked like a hammer. And then they switched it to a little virtual bolt thing.
I thought you were talking about...
to see Jankom's tool.
I thought you were talking about that too.
What's wrong with you people?
But he was living his best life.
He whipped out his tool?
He's got his tool, his arm tool. It switches to whatever he needs it to.
Come on, he was living his best life because he had an audience.
He did,
was really,
he likes very gleeful. Yeah.
I wonder where he could go to get more attachments. I wonder if he could go to like the adult store to buy attachments.
I think he has to get 18. Once he's 18, he can get those.
Oh, okay.
She's going to go to Adam and Eve for engineers.
Or the love store. Love Shack.
This
baby love
was
Shack.
I thought it was a nice way to cap the end of the season. So if you had to give it a rating, which you will have to give it a rating, Heather, what would you give it?
Oh, 9.5.
Oh, wow. You have it really up in there, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a large. It was, it took up everything. It was full volume.
His tool was large.
Oh, my.
Yeah, his tool was large.
She liked the hammer.
I kind of agree with Rocky that just because I loved it so much, I would have loved to see more. So that was the 0.5 that I knocked off. But it was pretty close to a 10.
You number one?
I'll give it a 9.5 as well. It was really good. It was a great ending to a great season. Everyone pretty much got wrapped up, so there wasn't like any loose dangling participles, as it were.
Dangling triples.
Right. It was really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
And how about you, Chief?
I don't know. I'm at an 8.75 because on its own, it's its own episode. It's not really, it's connected to the other ones. So you've got to combine them both together. And if I combine them both together, I'm probably at a 9.25. But I don't know how this math works, but the entire season, for the first season of this show, it's been a 10 because the show has been awesome. I really love Prodigy. They've done such a wonderful job with this show.
No, they did.
And the characters. We love these characters. Even when one metamorphs on you, you still love it.
Metamorphs.
And Dal got better. We hated Dal at the beginning. He got better. He's so fucking mature now. I'm waiting I want him to get a little bit screwy again, get a little bit crazy in the next season.
It was very satisfying, though, to see him go from episode 1, where he was annoying little shit, to episode 20, where he's like, we actually like this kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did a really good job. I think I'm going to ram my 9.5 right in there with everyone. It was done well. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the character growth. I enjoyed Rok-Tahk especially. Be the youngest on board and to wind up being the most capable and the most intelligent. She's almost like a universal tool. She's fight.
8 years old.
She can figure things out. Yeah.
She's freaking amazing.
And it shows you. She's really, really, really good.
And even Zero got better at the end of this thing. Zero was kind of a little bit of a dingbat in the beginning, but Zero even matured a bit. I'm on board with this crew.
Zero got an aperture science body. Did you notice that out of the cooperative partner initiative?
He got like a stormtrooper skin, but
he got the round one.
I agree. The only thing he could have said that would have made it better if he could have looked at it and says the cake is a lie.
Oh, that would have been. I would have been dying. That would have been awesome.
He would have said somebody left cake out in the rain.
So that would have been. It was done. It was done very, very well, in my opinion. I enjoyed it completely. Now I have a question before we start wrapping up here. What's our next week assignment there? Number one.
Let's see. That is going to be Star Trek Enterprise Season 2. Episode 12 on the catwalk.
Are we going right back to it, or are we going to do a movie?
Yeah.
I thought we were going to do some movies.
I'm cool with doing anything but Enterprise.
Well, we're going to have to decide then what movie we should review of the Star Trek movies. Tell you what, when you guys hear this podcast and you feel which movie we should do of the Star Trek movies, just send us an email which one you would like us to do, and we'll do that movie.
Yeah, on social media, on this, on all of it, like your choice. Do you want us to go back to Enterprise, or do you want us to do a movie? And if so, what movie?
Yeah,
I like that.
Make that happen.
Should I make a vote on Twitter?
That sounds like fun.
A twatter vote?
Yeah.
Is there enough choices available?
Yeah, just do
probably.
Yeah, you can push it all the way out. So yeah, we should do Enterprise. Or
do it.
Or make it a multiple guess. One of the choices being Enterprise and the rest being the rest of the movies. And they could pick which one, and whatever one wins, we'll review that one.
I like that. The movie I've been wanting to see is...
and give it a drop dead date.
Yeah.
It's got to have a drop dead date because we need enough time to be able to watch it.
I think you said I had to get a date. Okay. No, that was something else.
A drop dead gorgeous date. You must get a drop dead gorgeous date.
Is Twitter voting on this too? Is Twitter going to hook me up? What's going on?
I wouldn't trust Twitter hookups.
From the last person I saw leave your cabin, she was quite fetching, as the old people would say.
Ooh la la.
Wait, I'm old. Was that a dig at myself? Shut up, Nathan. Okay, I will. So thanks, everybody, for joining us for another episode of Starfleet Underground. Remember, you can reach us by email at theccollective@starfleetunderground.com or find us on the Twitter at StarfleetUnderG. You can find our account there. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram. You can find us just about anywhere that podcasts are being podcasted. So thanks for joining us. And wait, what? What do you mean now you finished everything? Okay, then what was Abraham Lincoln's middle name? What do you mean you don't know if he had a middle name? See, then you didn't finish.
Go refresh again.
Go check again. Yeah, hopefully by then we'll get the dot so full of information that he'll explode and we'll just rebuild 007. We'll put more parameters on it. So thanks, everybody. Again, I really hope that everyone had a safe New Year's. And please, whatever you do, just don't have a great 2023, but make it so.
And if you can, support the show by going to patreon.com/Starfleet Underground. Lots of perks to choose from, and you might even like some of them. Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG, and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.
Yay, see you
Can't
next
believe
year.
the dot is doing that. Yeah, next year. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the party. Thank you for not recording it because I don't remember when I lost my pants, but apparently I did.
Oh, Captain, I recorded it. I'm sorry.
Then I
have your entire naked dance on the pad to
She had to use two pedids to show it.
Yeah, I did. But it was so entertaining.
They were small pedids, but they were still two.
I can't believe how well you twerk. I mean, you are freaking amazing at twerking.
I've been practicing, And Patrick to say that you put a pin in your butt, and if you successfully do it, the pin should drop. So,
What?
that's what I said when you
Number
told
one
me to
is-
practice with that.
Number one's teaching the captain how to dance.
Holy shit, this light is still on. Where's that button?
Transfer complete.